Hello yogis, my name is April and welcome to the Yoga Ranger Studio and welcome to your practice today. Today is a minimal cues practice focused mostly on the area and the spaces of our hips and particularly the front side of the hips and the hip flexors. Because this is a minimal cues class, I won't be giving you a lot of direction for options or alternatives or modifications or propping. So if you are brand new to the practice, you might want to choose a practice that has a few more cues to it. This one I will be introducing you into the pose, getting you in, maybe offering one or two suggestions, and then letting you have the time quiet and still with your own breath, with your own body, with all that comes up for you. Really enjoy your practice and explore it on your own. For this practice, I'm going to be cueing just with a block, but if you would like to use other props, feel free to use whatever props you want. We'll be using this to give us a little support in our supported bridge pose, so that will give us some lift. It could be a pillow, it could be a blanket rolled up or folded up, so whatever you have at home will work just as well. We're going to start on our back, so have your block off to the side and have your knees bent, your feet flat. And just take one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart space, and just start to connect to your breath. Feeling with each exhale, you extend a little bit longer. And softly walking your feet in a little bit closer to your hips, lifting your hips up and sliding that block either at the lowest height or at the second lowest height, right underneath the back of your pelvis, which is your sacrum, not in your lower back, but at the base of your pelvis. Taking your arms alongside your body, tucking the shoulder blades underneath, and here you can choose to have your legs bent with your knees toward the ceiling, or you can take one leg at a time or both legs out, stretched out long. If you want more length, you can take your arms up overhead, interlace your fingers inside out, and walk your hands away from your head for a really long spine. Your legs are out straight, very slowly beginning to pull one leg at a time, foot flat, knee to the ceiling. Your arms are overhead, starting to release them, slide them down beside your body. Walk your heels in, lift your hips. Maybe shifting that block all the way off to the side and coming down. For a few breaths here in our rebound pose. Very slowly making your way up, rolling to your right side, lifting up and coming into a seat. Taking your left leg across, flexing the toes and bringing your right leg across in front of it. I'm going to come into square pose here. So square pose has a variety of options for you. You can take the heel on top of the opposite side, using blocks in between to give you support. Or you could come into a simple cross-legged pose, just flexing your feet and crossing them as much underneath your knees as you possibly can. Lifting up, shifting yourself around so you can sit more flat on your sit bones, and then starting to walk your fingers and fold forward. Maybe that you get down just a little ways, maybe you get down really far, finding what works best for you. Starting to lift back up, pressing through your fingertips, coming all the way upright, leaning back just a little bit, maybe taking your feet wide and windshield wipering side to side, super slow. Checking in with sensations, with your breath. Then coming back through center and switching sides. So this time your right leg is behind, flexing the toes, setting that leg up straight. Left leg goes over, or it can sit on top of that right knee if that is where you want to go with your practice. Lifting up so you shift everything out from underneath you, and then starting to walk yourself and fold forward. Gently starting to walk your hands back up to center, leaning back, unwinding your feet, taking them wide and windshield wipering side to side. Sometimes a lot of sensation happens after the pose. For our last pose, we're coming down all the way onto our backs. Here, leaning a little bit over to your left, taking that left hand out. You're going to reach around with your right hand and grab hold of that left foot, pulling it back behind you for cat pulling its tail. Here you can stack those knees on top of one another, or you can bring your knee up high and twist a little deeper, or you can take your leg out straight if that feels good for you. Just bringing that left foot down to the floor. Maybe twisting over to the right with your shoulder. Gently start to release whatever hold you have on your foot and your leg. Roll onto your back, take your feet wide, drop your knees together, take a few breaths here. And then gently taking that right arm out, rolling to your right side just a little bit. Taking that right leg back behind you, reaching for it with your hand for cat pulling its tail on the other side. Taking whatever variation works for this side, recognizing that two sides are different, so maybe you need a little different pose here. Legs straight or knee bent, turning and looking over your left shoulder. Gently release whatever holds you have and unwind, taking your feet flat, knees to the ceiling. Hands to your belly, one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, and just reconnecting with your breath. Perhaps allowing your exhale to extend longer and longer up to double the amount of your inhale. On your next inhale, taking your arms up overhead and your legs out long, stretching your spine as long as you can. And exhaling over to your right side, slowly making your way up to whatever seated position you like best. Hands together at heart center. Nice deep inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Have a great day.